to bring us up to date on the parade of awful bills to destroy the internet in front of Congress. Please welcome Ron Picone.
What's up, Lee? How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I too remember Berlusconi. What a doozy that guy was. He was
Yeah, and I didn't even know about his lovely Operation Gladio past.
no, that was that was new information to me as well. I was actually over there for their most recent election. I happened to be over there on election day.
You have Italy ties, don't you?
Yeah, one of my cousins was getting married, and so it coincided with the election. So I got to be there when they when they elected another fascist. So
why didn't you stop that, Ron?
I volunteered to be a write-in, but not enough people took me up on it, I guess.
All right, so I mean, we can talk about other things if we get to them, but I know you want to focus on these bills in front of Congress, which it seems like not many people are paying attention to, but it's basically how can we a bunch of bills on how we can further destroy the internet. We've already allowed ourselves to gut net neutrality, but let's make it worse.
Yeah, and they really count on people not paying attention, because one of the most common congressional dirty tricks in the book is that they'll try to put horrible legislation into a must-pass spending bill, just kind of tack it on while no one's paying attention, and just kind of ram it through and be like, oh yeah, and while you were sleeping, we passed this bill that it's legal now to punch a poor person in the face or whatever.
But it'll be called the realign poor people's faces for them
for
to
Freedom
help them
Act.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's especially what you see in the tech space. You see all these bills like keep kids safe online, like the Online Safety Act and all these other things. And of course, when you just read that title, it sounds like something you want to support. But then you read what it actually does, and you're like, no, this is terrible. This does not protect children. This blows encryption protection on our messages.
I was just I was just starting to read up on this before bringing you on, and when I saw the name, the Kids Online Safety Act, I was like, oh Jesus.
Right, because it's like, how could you? I mean, it's already, you're kind of digging out of the weeds if it's called the Kids Online Safety Act, and you're going, this is actually terrible. They're like, well, it's called the Kids Online Safety Act. Yes, but there's more to it than that. Read what it actually does. And here's the worst part. Like, not only does this bill blow a hole in encryption protection, which makes everyone more vulnerable online, but there's the grumblings right now is that there's a handful of amendments that we don't even know the details about quite yet, but the person behind those amendments is none other than Ted Cruz. So I'm sure they're not going to be good. So yeah,
here's the thing. I have some hope that maybe Ted Cruz added an amendment that, like, he gets to diddle a cow once a week or something. That's like so horrific that it sinks everything.
Everyone's like, this is a bridge too far. We got to end this. We got to end this now.
So my hope is for Ted Cruz.
I suppose it's possible. But
yeah. So explain what they claim the Kids Online Safety Act is doing and what it actually does.
Well, what they claim it does is they claim that COSA will just keep kids safer online, that it will, it will allow them to only have the best resources available to them, and it will keep them, it will shelter them from some of the algorithmic harms of social media, which you're thinking, okay, social media could be bad for kids, certainly, all right. But here's what the bill really does. What the bill really does is it just makes it more hard for kids to get resources like LGBTQ resources, abortion resources, stuff like that. Basically, stuff that the powers that be don't want young people to have access to. In fact, the Heritage Foundation recently tweeted and they said the quiet part out loud. Like they're like, yeah, we don't want transgender youth to have access to care or resources. That's what we want. That's really the point of this. And it endangers encryption protection. Most of these bills do that because it allows overreaching surveillance on behalf of bureaucrats, on behalf of the government. So all these
So
bills
this
have,
is how you see the Republicans and the Democrats aligning. Is
oh
one
yeah,
side is like, oh wait, this makes it harder for women to have rights to their own bodies. That sounds good to me. And then the Democrats are like, oh, this makes it harder for anyone to operate outside of the state coming after you if you're a journalist like Julian Assange or you're an activist. And they're like, okay, that sounds great to us.
bingo. Bingo. Yeah. I mean, and that's why like a lot of these bills do have bipartisan support. Even though they are opposed by every human and digital rights group out there. Like they are unanimously opposed. And we kind of got wind that they're going to try to push some of these through, not all of them, but they're going to try to push some of them through right before the August recess. Again, doing that whole thing where it's like, all right, we got a must pass spending bill that's going to go through. Let's tack on some terrible things to it. Well, people aren't paying attention. That's how the Telecommunications Act in 1996 happened. So they're counting on that.
Yeah. Also, if you do it right before Congress is going home, then they're all like, I'm not fighting over this. I'm going to miss my plane.
Exactly. So, the ACLU and Fight for the Future, who I collaborate with, and EFF, all organized a week of action to tell Congress that we are paying attention and we're not going to let you pass these bills. So people can go to badinternetbills.com, sign that petition, call your elected officials, let them know that we're paying attention and that, hey, if you try some of these dirty tricks, we're paying attention because these are the type of policy fights that we actually have a chance to win. Because you know what? If they're scared they're going to lose their job, they'll just take the L and go on vacation.
All right. So here is badinternetbills.com. But I do have one slight bone to pick.
Go ahead.
I am fucking done with petitions. I mean, I'm not saying don't sign them. I think people should sign them, but I have yet to see, at least in the past several decades, a politician go, I changed my vote because I saw that petition they signed. So what other actions can people take other than just
if you don't want to sign something, call. Calling's better anyway. You call and you flood them with voice messages, with memos, with just getting people on the line, then they basically are going to have to listen. And, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, it's like we got net neutrality bills passed at the state level because people were just so freaking loud. They knew how grossly unpopular what the Trump FCC was doing. We've stopped different bills in the past. We lost the antitrust fight, which was a rough one, but we ruffled a lot of feathers in the meantime. So, if people don't want to fight for policy, then it's like, well, what do we got? I mean, we really got nothing else. We got two things. We got policy battles. We got our labor. That's it. So you don't want to sign something. You don't want to call, get out on the picket line. Do all the above, actually.
Where do you guys stand on throwing dog poo?
I mean, if it's in the appropriate venue, I'm okay with it. If it's...
What if the petition's stapled to the bag?
Yeah, I'm for that. Be like no COSA, and just kind of launch it out there.
So are there any other? So what are the other bills? Or are they all kind of related to that same thing?
They're all kind of connected because they're all variations of the same stuff because these bills are grossly unpopular. So they just repackage them, make some slight tweaks, and put a new title on it. Like COSA has been introduced and reintroduced in so many various ways. I probably couldn't even name them all, but it's been going on for years. Same with the Earn It Act. The Restrict Act is most commonly referred to as the Don't Ban TikTok bill. Now, that's a bill that they're probably not going to try for because, again, there was such an uproar about it and so many people raised hell about it. And that hearing was such a freaking embarrassment that they had to just sort of cut
the TikTok one.
Yeah, the TikTok one. I mean, they had that ridiculous hearing that was, I don't know if you saw it, but it was quite humorous. And they
I saw a few clips of it, like the one where the guy said, now does TikTok use Wi-Fi?
Yes. Does TikTok use Wi-Fi? Does TikTok? And then they also found out that all of the stuff as far as data harvesting and whatnot, like Facebook and Instagram are
Oh yeah,
worse than TikTok. I'm not
yeah.
saying TikTok doesn't have privacy concerns. Of course it does. All platforms do. But Facebook and Instagram are way worse than
Yeah.
TikTok is.
But the thing is, Facebook and Instagram and everything, they're aligned with the U.S. government, so
Yes.
they're kind of a tentacle of the U.S. government in many ways. So.
They're the domestic overlords. Those are the ones that are okay. But when China's involved, that's when it's a problem.
So what else you working on right now?
What else do I got going on? Well, first of all, everyone go to badinternetbills.com. Sign,
Badinternetbills.com. Yeah.
call. If you don't want to sign, call. If you don't want to call, throw dog poop saying these bills are bad. Per Lee's suggestion. And what else do I got going on? I'm going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival next month. I'm excited for that.
Nice. I did that 3 times. Had a blast. It's an abusive spouse though. It's like,
that's what everyone says.
are you doing the full month or?
No, just 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I did 2 weeks and I did 2 full months, and it's you'll have days where you're like, this is amazing. I'm performing every night of the week in front of cool crowds, and this is great. And then the next night you'll be like, kill me now. And is there a flight home where they could send my body pieces back to the United States? Like, it just
That's what everyone says.
It's back and forth like that.
Yeah, my buddy who's done it for years, he told me, he's like, at the end of the day, it's the best worst idea in the world. So, yeah, my friend Bronson Jones, comedian Bronson Jones, said that to me. He's like, it's the best worst idea in the world. He's like, it's so much fun. It's also at times completely terrible, and then also so much fun. And oh my god, I'm so overwhelmed. And oh, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
So I've never done it, man. So I'm just sort of gonna let in the good, the bad, and the ugly. And
what if
try
you're
to
just
enjoy it.
doing 2 weeks? Are you doing like a joint show with other people?
Nope, just me.
Okay.
I'm doing a 2-week run at the Little Cellar and in the venue 32 Below, and everyone can go to my website ronpicone.com for more information on my Fringe run if there's any Edinburgh Fringe attendees in the audience. And then October 21st, I'm doing a series right in my neighborhood of San Pedro. So I'm going from a different continent to down the street from my house. And tickets and all information, that's October 21st, that show, and tickets and all information can be found at ronpicone.com.
Cool. Tomorrow I'm talking to Cornel West. What should I ask him?
Oh man, Cornel West. Geesh, that's yeah.
How he gets his hair to look so cool?
Yeah, you could ask him that. You could ask him, I mean, obviously about the campaign. You should ask him
What he feels about internet bills, right?
What does he feel about internet bills? Bad internet bills. Will he? What is his platform on digital rights? See where he's at on that. Feel him out, and I would ask him for some insider info on the whole. It was Harvard, right? That he left.
I think it was Harvard that refused to give him tenure. And
yeah.
Even though they wouldn't say it's because of his stance on Palestine, it seemed quite evident.
Yeah, I would ask him about that. I know that wasn't like a huge thing, but to me, it was insanely interesting because even going beyond the Israel-Palestine thing, it also showed. It's so interesting to me in academia. There's this subtle disdain for anybody who has had, like, in their world, mass appeal. And when I say mass appeal, I don't mean necessarily that Cornel West has like some huge mass appeal necessarily, but mass appeal is in this person is listened to other than a handful of their peers who read an academic journal that the regular world ignores.
Right.
You know, like Cornel West is one of those people. Noam Chomsky is one of those people.
They're probably trying to push out Jeffrey Sachs right now from Columbia. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And even like people like Gabriel Rockhill, like you kind of wonder, like, wow, I'm surprised nobody's ever tried to go after you before. You know, like as far as your job.
Well, I think they do go after them. It's just that
Probably.
because they have tenure, it's tough, but yeah.
It's tough. Well, and I think in a lot of cases, the students like them. So it's like, what are you going to do?
I know, I can't remember her last name. Is Adrian Pyle, the professor who was part of the Venezuelan embassy defense collective. She they went after her in like every way they could to try and kick her out of her university position.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was an academic in a past life, so I mean, I've seen it even on the smaller scale level of just, if you're kind of not being the minion that the department wants, they sort of figure out a way to push you out. And not everywhere is like that, but it's definitely, to my understanding, the norm.
Sorry, Adrian Pine, not Pyle.
Adrian Pine.
Well, thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate you coming and updating us on the latest horror show by our Congress. If you could bring good news next time, that'd be awesome.
There's some good, yeah. There's some okay tech policy out there. It's just they never push for those ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who are just like, hey, we wrote a nice thing. We're gonna hang it up on the fridge.
It's just some, Ro Khanna wrote and put on his fridge or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like those. It's just like, here's an actual good bill. Yeah, we're just gonna tack it up here and forget that we ever wrote this thing. It's like, well, that's a bummer. Here's this horrible one though. Like, oh, well, that's a great consolation prize. Thanks.
For some odd reason, there's always a lot more money behind the horrible ones. I haven't figured out why that is.
Well, it's like I also noticed. Do you ever notice how what we just talked about, where it's like Congress pushes through these horrible bills when like right before a recess, so no one notices. You ever notice it's never been the other way around. Like there's never been a time where it's the other way around, where it's just like, guys, good news. In the dead of night, we tacked on universal health care. No one could do anything about it. They all just wanted to go home. You're welcome.
Similarly, there'll be 2 years of debate over universal health care in the rare instance that it's even would even be on their agenda. But there's like 12 seconds of debate, or really zero debate, on sending $100 billion to Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. If it's even talked about.
Just none.
If it's even talked about. And if people are paying attention, we'll just do a voice vote. So you don't even have to officially go on record.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ron. That's badinternetbills.com. And I hope you have a blast at Edinburgh.
Thanks, buddy. Good seeing you. Be well.
Continue.